Hello, hello, my lovely angels. This is your girl Sim back with another episode of the Sim Squad. Hi. It's that time of the year where I have to start doing my fall favorites. And if you know, my choice by itself is very much fall oriented or winter oriented. The perfumes I tend to like are usually perfumes that you'd wear in winter. So I'm always excited when the season comes in. Although in the UAE, we have like literally 3 months of winter combined with fall, so we don't really have like much of winter. But that's the time I take the opportunity to use these perfumes and flaunt them and not worry that it's going to not suit the weather or it's going to claw people or if it's going to bother me or anything like that. The thing is, I cannot put all the perfumes in one video, so I'm gonna do Lattafa separately and I'm gonna do rest of the brands in a separate video. So this will be the part one of fall fragrances for 2024, and I've arranged the perfumes in alphabetical order, and I think there are about 13 perfumes. So let's start with the first one, which will be an obvious choice. Everybody knows Amethyst. Amethyst is one of my absolutely favorite dark rose perfumes. It's mysterious, it is goth. If you're looking for a goth smelling rose perfume, Amethyst is like your best bet. This to my nose literally smells like a queen from the Middle East. Somebody who is not from this generation, like she's from, a different time where there were like kings and queens and they used to live in the desert in tents, and the queens would wear gilded clothes and lots of jewelry and dark kohol. The picture that comes to my mind that it's like a starry sky, it's dark, and the queen is like dressed up in purple and gold and she's wearing like a lot of jewelry and she's wearing this perfume. This was supposed to be a dupe for Initio's Atomic Rose. Some elements, but not totally. On Fragrantica, this has got 4.23. This is when I last made my notes. The classification for this is an amber vanilla. I don't think it should be classified as an amber vanilla. This is more of a amber floral. It's definitely very, very sweet. The top notes for this are bergamot, pink peppercorn and blackcurrant, heart notes of Turkish rose, Bulgarian rose and jasmine, and the base notes of agarwood, amber and vanilla. Now to everybody who is a beginner oud, the oud and rose combination might not be the best bet for you to start with, right? This does kind of go in the same direction as your Shagaf oud, kind of the original one, or if you know the western counterparts, that's your Lancome's oud bouquet. But this is very, very rose heavy as opposed to your oud. And also it has some spice elements, right? And the spice elements such as pink peppercorn gives it that mystery and intrigue. The sweetness in this of course comes from the vanilla, but it also feels like the rose is like a jammy rose. Think of like a jammy rose with vanilla, with oud, make it like a little bit of hint of spices and make it very, very dark. That's what this perfume smells like. Even in winter, I would wear this with caution because I would say like this projects around 4 to 5 feet and the longevity of this is 8+ hours. While it leans feminine, I would say like some men can get away with it, but I would really not want Ali to smell like this, or I wouldn't want to smell this on men. But I know in the Middle East, a lot of men do wear perfumes like this, which are a mixture of oud, rose and saffron. My rating for this is an easy 10 out of 10, like there's no doubt about it. I love this fragrance so much. You've seen this perfume appear so many times on my channel. I think it's become boring now. Like a lot of these perfumes, it'll be repeat of last year's fall fragrances because this is specific to Lattafa. But at the same time, I've added a few and removed a few so that like this changes, and plus my preferences also change. Of course, when I get a new perfume, I'm more inclined to wear the new ones as opposed to old ones. But since this one has survived for the past 2 years, this is going to always stay in my collection. Next, we have a new one from Lattafa, and that's your Lattafa Eclaire. This is very different from your Amethyst because this one is your pure gourmand fragrance. This is supposed to be a dupe for your Bianco Latte. It's a very lactonic, sweet gourmand. Think of all the gourmand notes that you can think of, basic gourmand notes. All of it is in here. Top notes, caramel, milk and sugar. Middle notes of white florals and honey, and the base notes of vanilla, praline and musk. Like what else is there? Even honey is included. Milk is included, sugar, vanilla, caramel, praline. So think of all these delicious, yummy notes combined. Smells like that. Now, when I got this perfume, the way it started smelling from the beginning, it maintained its scent. It's just gotten a little bit more thicker and lasts a little bit longer compared to when I had bought this perfume. On Fragrantica, this has got 4.67. I don't want to talk too much about this perfume because there's literally no other way of describing it. Like, think of all your pure gourmand notes put into one. It smells delicious, it smells edible. So this is, when I say pure gourmand, I mean it's an edible gourmand where you feel like this could be a dessert. A beautiful, nice dessert that's very wholesome, and just a couple of spoonfuls will like satisfy you. You don't have to have too much of the dessert, you know. I did compare this to a little bit like how toffee smells like. Also, so far, this is the closest dupe to Bianco Latte I've come across, and I really, really do like Eclaire. I love it because I can layer it with a lot of other perfumes. Any perfume that I want to add that edible gourmand note to, there is no other perfume better than this one. With the exception of Victor from Khadlaj, because that's your boozy vanilla. So these two are different. That will come in the next video. So I'll explain the difference in the next video. But this one is your sweet, it's, I wouldn't say juvenile, but it's definitely a youthful kind of gourmand. The projection for this is 1 to 2 feet, and your longevity, I would say, is like 7 hours. 7 hours now. Initially, when I bought this perfume, it was like 6 hours, like, you know, and then it would fade away. On the skin, it remains for 24 hours. Like when you smell it very close up, you can smell it. But like if you are thinking of how much it's smelling to others, I would say 7 hours. My rating for this, I would give this now a 9.5 out of 10. It's still a lot, guys. But like, would I repurchase this perfume again? I give perfumes 10 out of 10 only when I know I'm going to repurchase that perfume, right? Next, we have an infamous perfume. This is from their Ameer al Oudh line, and this is the Honor and Glory. This is your caramel creme brulee perfume with a hint of spices. Now, the hint of spices is where the controversy comes into the picture, because this has a very strong turmeric and black pepper note. For everybody who's recently bought this, and if you don't like it, let it settle down. The perfume really, really transforms and changes and becomes like a very, very beautiful perfume. Guys, it literally smells like fresh pineapple in the opening. But that fresh pineapple dies, not dies, I mean dies. It like calms down, and then it becomes like more like a creme brulee, but that pineapple note is ever there in the background. But that creme brulee also has like hints of black pepper and turmeric. I know it's very difficult to imagine this, because who has ever had creme brulee topped up with black pepper and turmeric? Like, you know. The top notes for this are pineapple and creme brulee, middle notes of turmeric, cinnamon, black pepper and benzoin, and the base notes of vanilla, cashmere, sandalwood and moss. So it does have like strange notes in the base as well, like cashmere and moss, but they're not really doing much. They're just adding this weird note in the background. And I say weird, it's not a bad weird, it's a good weird. So for me, this perfume again is very comforting. This perfume, in my opinion, I can wear this during summer as well. This is going to be attention grabbing for sure, because it smells very niche, very different. A lot of people were comparing this to Ani and Kaidal Fursan, the I don't know which Kaidal Fursan they were comparing it, or were they like combining both of them? If you guys don't know, that Kaidal Fursan, that video had got me the most hate, and till date I keep getting like weird comments on it. But I'm not going to take it down, you know what, whatever. That's how I felt about those perfumes, you know. So it does like smell kind of like a mixture of both, but not really, just because it has pineapple and then it has that milky lactonic note. No, it has lactonic notes, but it's there much in the background, right? This is not for everybody, for sure. I can understand why some people might absolutely hate this perfume. But if you have not given it the opportunity, let it rest, let it calm down, and the perfume does really change a lot from the beginning till like now. I have had it for almost a year now. My rating for this is an 8.5 out of 10. My ratings keep changing, guys, and please don't hold me responsible for giving this perfume maybe a 7 before, and now I'm giving it an 8.5. The perfumes also change, my taste also changes, so, and plus like seasonally also my choices change. So right now for me, this is an 8.5 out of 10. It's beautiful if you want to smell different, plus it really helps that the bottle is this cute. I mean, oh my gosh. Since we are going alphabetically, the next one would be your Ameer al Oudh. This had to, you must be like singing, yeah, for sure we were like Amethyst, and this one would definitely come in. And there's another 1 or 2 perfumes that you just know Simin is going to bring it up in each and every fall winter collection, especially for Lattafa. Oh my goodness, the best. If I could chuck all the perfumes, all of them for winter, I mean not chuck them, not forever, like just for the winter, and you would say, Simin, remove all the perfumes and choose one. Ameer al Oudh would be the one. This literally smells like your sugary sweet oud, but smoky. Also has like a little bit of that caramel thing going on in the background. It's a very, very sweet perfume. Smells like you have sprayed like a sweet oud perfume on a blanket and you're wearing that blanket. Feels like a warm hug. Also kind of feels like you're sitting next to a bonfire. It just gives you a very comforting feeling, which is why I love this perfume. Like I don't like over describing this perfume because it takes away from the simplicity that this perfume is. It's literally just sweet oud with some smokiness. And this was compared to By the Fireplace. Now I know a lot of people do feel like this still smells like By the Fireplace, but I need to honestly get like a vial of By the Fireplace because the last time I smelled this, for me it was like a lot of differences. This is really, really sweet compared to By the Fireplace, but I could be wrong, so I'm going to try and get a vial for that so I could do the side-by-side comparison. The rating for this on Fragrantica is 4.26. The notes for this are woody notes, agarwood, middle notes of sugar and vanilla, and the base notes of agarwood, sandalwood and herbal notes. The herbal notes in the background, if you compare it to Nasheet or to Majzal Sultan, if you don't know these perfumes, it doesn't smell anything like that. The herbal notes are like barely there, but definitely makes a little bit of a difference to the perfume because it cuts through all the sweet notes. And this is like very important even when you make desserts and stuff. You know, when you make something very sweet, you add a touch of spices or a touch of salt, especially like caramel. You put some salted caramel. You know, it just gives that little bit of cut through the sweetness. Otherwise, it'll just become a very overwhelming scent. So I do love the fact that they've added those herbal notes, but it's not overwhelming at all. You barely notice it. This is a 10 out of 10 perfume for me. It's like I can't even like imagine being without this perfume. The projection for this is a good 4 to 5 feet, depending on how much you spray. You barely need to spray this, like 2 sprays are enough. The longevity, 8+ hours, easily. This has a very strong oud facet, so be careful, oudi perfume, yeah? But not banyadi, it's a cold oud, smoky cold oud. Next we have Khamrah, but I have chosen Khamrah Qahwa. I did not choose both Khamrahs because kind of like getting not so attracted to the other Khamrah anymore since I bought this one. As a matter of fact, before I bought the Qahwa version, I used to love Khamrah and I was very obsessed with it. But recently, like just because, by the way guys, I might show another perfume from the other brands that smells like angel share, because how can you not have one angel share dupe in a fall winter perfume collection, right? This on the other hand, just because it has that kahwa note. And guys, if you have never tried kahwa, you will not understand the feeling of drinking kahwa for the first time and how much kahwa like we like it over here. It just makes you feel so good. So it's Arabian coffee with ginger, cinnamon, cardamom. You cook it together and they serve it like in shots because the coffee is so strong, and the way they boil it for such a long time, it becomes like really, really strong. And sugar is not added, but separately they give you a date, and then you take a sip of kahwa and take a bite of the date, or take a bite of the date and take a sip of kahwa. It's a symbol of hospitality as well. So everywhere you go, usually people serve you this as a welcome drink if you ever come to Dubai, and if you need to try the kahwa, you know. So this kind of smells like the same thing, that kahwa experience with the date. But it also smells like some other confectionaries. It also smells a little boozy. It also smells slightly floral. It's a very unique, weird smelling perfume. You need to also, again with this, let it sit for some time, because initially like the projection, longevity is like pathetic. Also the perfume doesn't smell like how it's supposed to become. Right now, I think I've had this perfume for 8 months or so. Amazing. Next month when we start getting the fall vibes, I'm going to start using this perfume like crazy. The top notes are ginger, cinnamon and cardamom, middle notes of praline, candied fruits and white flowers, and the base notes are coffee, tonka bean, benzoin, vanilla and musk. It does smell very, very complicated. Like it doesn't smell like a perfume. You know how Ameer al Oudh was? You could just smell it and be like, sweet oud smokiness. This is not like that. This is like, it has like so much of variety of notes. Especially to people who have not smelled kahwa, this will smell very, very complicated. And I like that about this perfume because it is not basic. It smells expensive, rich. It gives you that Dubai feeling or Middle Eastern feeling without giving you that necessity of smelling oud in a Middle Eastern perfume, if you know what I mean, you know. This is again a 10 out of 10. Lovely. Next we have another gorgeous perfume which is very, very old in my collection, and this is also a very, very loved perfume, and everybody who's tried it, they all have told me they love this perfume, except for the exception of maybe one person that I remember. This is Mohra. by Lattafa, of course. And this is supposed to be a dupe for Penhaligon's Helvetii, but the Cedar edition, right? They had like a leather and the original Helvetii. First of all, the bottle is super cute. It looks oriental, to be honest with you. It looks like something you would find in China or something, you know. But it does smell a little bit oriental. It doesn't really smell Middle Eastern. Smells like a marketplace, like the Silk Route, you know, or the Silk Road, where you would people had gone merchants and stuff to discover new incense, your resins, your spices, your I don't know what else they discover on the Silk Route, you know, like lots of things. It's very oriental smelling, but it does smell like something out of a generation that is lost, where people were still discovering land and they were still discovering new countries and stuff. The top notes for this are saffron, lavender, blood orange, and bergamot. The opening itself is like insane. Then you have your middle notes of black pepper, rose, and cashmere, and the base notes of patchouli, sandalwood, cedar, labdanum, and musk. Because it has lavender, cedar, labdanum, cashmere, and you know, patchouli, like a lot of people might think of it as a masculine fragrance, but no. On the unisex meter, it is bang on in the middle. If a woman wears it, it starts smelling feminine. If a guy wears it, it surprisingly turns quite masculine. But for me, I understand that for some women, they might have some reservations about wearing this. But that's the beauty about fall and winter, especially winter, when you wear this. It's perfectly acceptable. I wear this honestly even in summer sometimes. Do people around me hate me for it? Yes, they do, but whatever. On Fragrantica, this has got 4.24. The projection, I would say, is like 4 to 5 feet. Longevity, 8 plus hours. Again, this perfume, I was lucky to get it already macerated, but the funny thing is the chemicals react with each other and it just starts getting better and better. And I can't describe how. Only if you've experienced the Middle Eastern perfumes, how they change, you'll know the beauty of the maceration. And this has just turned into a very beautiful juice. 10 out of 10 for me. Mohra is always going to be in my collection. Surprisingly, they have Mohra and Silky Rose. So Mohra Silky Rose from this collection. I wish they would start releasing more flankers. I'm so excited. If I see that, I'll instantly buy it because I'll be like, this is going to be good, you know, for sure. And I hope they don't ruin this collection by releasing something that'll not smell good. I am forgetting to breathe. When I get excited about perfume, I stop breathing because I'm like, la 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 la. Words are pouring out of my mouth because I'm trying to catch up with the thoughts that are in my head, you know. I love this perfume so much. You don't see how much it's exciting me to do this video because this compilation is my favorite throughout the year. The bottle, honestly, I'm not very fond of the bottle. It's very heavy though. This is probably the heaviest bottle, although it doesn't look like. But this is, like, I always say this, like, you can use this as a weapon. If sometimes, God forbid, somebody comes at my house, I know this is the one I need to grab and, like, whack, you know. So, this one is a very, very strong aromatic vanilla. This is a dupe for Ani, if you don't know that already. In the beginning, this perfume was the weakest perfume I had. Like, literally, you spray it in 1 hour, it's disappeared. Now, longevity, 7 to 8 hours. Let me get that out of the way. Nasheet was also not really available in UAE easily, so I had got it from the dark web. No, I'm kidding. There's no dark web over here. Like, from a very small shop, like, you know, you kind of have these, like, alleyway shops, and somehow one of my friends, she found it for me and she bought it for me because she knew I was on the lookout for it. It is vanillic sweet, but it has this cold, almost apothecary kind of smell. Some people might compare it to the Vicks Vapor Rub scent. Some people might compare it to, like, you know, that mentholated mixture you get to clean your sinus, you know? Something like that. I know I'm not selling it very well. Guys, this is a 10 out of 10 for me, by the way, just letting you know. I love this perfume a little bit too much, but it is extremely aromatic. So you need to be prepared for that. It does smell like your medicine cabinet a little bit, you know, because you have all those inhalers and your, you know, salve and your balms and things like that, where, you know, your medicine cabinet usually have this smell in the background. Plus it has this little bit of bitterness also. Let me say, okay, I know why. So the top note is guaiac wood, middle note is nutmeg. Nutmeg is where that bitterness is coming from. And in the base you have sandalwood, cashmere and frankincense. Frankincense being the apothecary scent, you know. But I wonder where the sweetness of vanilla is coming because they have not mentioned it. But as you know, brands are not necessarily inclined to, you know. I learned from you guys last time because I did ask you guys, like, are they like obliged? Like, wouldn't you like have to declare all your, but I guess that's a trade secret, so they don't reveal it. So definitely does have some form of benzoin or your vanilla, something sweet. Very, very gorgeous perfume. If you appreciate resins like frankincense, You need to love frankincense, to love Nasheet. That's all I can say, you know. The projection is around 2 feet, and the longevity, I would say, is 6 to 7 hours. It doesn't last 8 hours yet, you know. But you know what? Like, honestly, it gets me past the day. It's beautiful. I also use this as layering a lot when I want to add this cold effect to other perfumes, especially to very, very sweet perfumes like your Eclaire, your Nebras, which is coming up next. Next, we have Nebras. Do you remember this? Very unique bottle. I had broken the cap, but somehow it got fixed by itself. I don't know how, but I'm not taking the chance by pulling it the last time I did it and broke it. This is supposed to be a dupe for your Billie Eilish #1, the first perfume of hers. It's very heavy on your gourmand notes, but again, it has that menthol or eucalyptus or some form of that apothecary. That's what I'm saying, like all these perfumes, they do have a lot of aromatics. The top notes for this are red berries and mandarin, middle notes of vanilla, cacao and rose, and the base notes of sugar, tonka, amber and musk. They haven't mentioned anything which is aromatic over here, but I promise you it's there. The older it's getting, the more of that little bit of red berry and mandarin orange it's revealing. Initially, I could not smell it at all. Now I can smell like 1%. Then they say they have vanilla, cacao and rose. Again, rose is like, it's so mild. It's literally, again, like 1%, you know. But your vanilla, cacao, sugar, tonka bean, amber and musk is what's heavily over here, along with this strange aromatic note. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to call it aromatic because I don't know if it's lavender mixed with frankincense, or it's definitely lavender mixed with something. But because of that little interesting note in the background, I love it. I will, however, say that I don't gravitate towards this as much as I used to when I first got this perfume. Reason being, there are several culprits. So we have your Eclaire, which is now like the perfect kind of perfume that I would want to combine with other perfumes. Billie Eilish is something I will wear to bed now. Billie Eilish. Nebras is something I would wear to bed now because it gives me, again, that comfortable feeling, warm feeling. Or if I have guests at home, friends at home coming home, and if you're having a chill movie night or a chill dinner or something, I would wear this. It's a comforting scent. That's like what I'm trying to say. It's not a scent I would want to wear and go out and be like, oh, look, I smell so good. You know, no, it's not one of those. I'll give it a 9 out of 10 for now because I think initially I was so like 10 out of 10, I can't live without this perfume. But now I feel I can live without this perfume. Plus, I think you don't need to use it too much. So like, let's say this week, if I used it once, next week I will not feel like using it because I've got my dose of Nebras. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like, after some time, I'll get a craving for it. So I can't get rid of this perfume because if I don't have this perfume in my collection, I can never declutter it because I'll get the craving to smell it and I'll want to like have that dose of, you know, I do have the Billie Eilish perfume too. That's another reason why I probably will not want to buy this again because I have that one too. And I don't know when I'm going to finish all these perfumes together. Your projection is like, I would say like 3 to 4 feet and your longevity for this is like 6 to 7 hours. Next we have another one from the Sehr Lattafa. My goodness, I have 3 of them. So the only one which is missing is the Sublime, which I might just get rid of in December because it's a very apple forward perfume. If you know me, do not like apple note a lot in my perfumes. If it's a good mixture of a lot of different things with apple, fine. But if the dominant note is apple, then not so much. This is the Sehr Al Oudh, Oud for Glory. I think this was the first of its release and then the Amethyst was released, you know. And then we had the Sublime and then we had finally the Honor and Glory, sorry. This is your, you must have one of these Oud, you know. If Amethyst was the queen, this is the king. They just take you to a different world and I just cannot explain it. I just feel this way, by the way, about these 2 perfumes, where it transports me to a different world, puts me in a fragrance coma. This, however, I do feel leans on the unisex meter, slight bit masculine. You would think that this is something a guy should wear, but again, this is a super cold oud. Does feel a little damp, it does smell a little goth. It's not barnyardy at all. And again, this was supposed to be a dupe for Initio's Oud for Greatness. And it's a very, very close dupe. This oud is to die for. Like for me, okay, it's very difficult to say this, but would I want to say this is like probably my favorite oud perfume? No, I can't make such big claims. No. I would be a hypocrite. No. Because I'm smelling this right now and I'm getting impressed and I'll just blurt it out. And then there'll be another perfume and I'll be like, oh no, this is my favorite oud. Because we do know that I love oud mood, you know. You know, while oud mood is very sweet and a little bit rosy, this is less rosy. I'm pretty certain that there was some confusion going on around this note structure. Let me try and find out the right one once and for all, and I'll put it on the screen for you, right? I'll try and do my research, because it's unfair that I keep telling you the same notes when I know this is wrong. So just scratch that, right? I'll try to put the notes on the screen. Anyhow, if you're looking for a dark goth oud that smells very, very damp and mysterious, again, this is a perfume that I will not wear all the time. But when I get the craving, there's no other perfume that can satisfy the craving of this. Plus, this is the best oud for layering. Again, if you're not very fond of oud perfumes, this might be a little bit much for you, although it's not a fecal oud, but still. For me, this is always and forever going to stay 10 out of 10. The projection is 4 to 5 feet, longevity 8 plus hours. Next, we have Raghba, which I quite literally only use during winter, because this comes out for layering, you know. I know a lot of people do not like this perfume. I don't know how. It's such a good perfume. It's so basic. Basic in the sense like it doesn't smell like something spectacular or special, but it just smells so good. It's a very pleasant smelling oud. It's not challenging at all. Some people say it's too sweet. Some people say it smells like saliva. I don't know what saliva, but okay, let's not go there, it's disgusting. But no, it does not smell like saliva to me. It does not smell like that at all. The notes for this are vanilla, sugar, agarwood, incense, sandalwood and musk. It kind of smells like it could be a flanker for Ameer al Oudh, but very, very feminine, very soft, mild. It does, I feel, has some kind of florals also, which are not listed, but like, I do smell something like a bright flower, like a light floral or something, you know? And it's an uplifting incense. It's not like that downer incense that smells like the mosque or church incense, you know? It's very different. Plus that's sandalwood. I think it's the sandalwood that's giving it that cold, beautiful feeling. I can't describe it except for that it smells like an oud that is light. Like you feel like the oudi perfume, but it smells very, very light. Smells amazing on the skin. I recently wore this and Ali actually asked me, "You're smelling very, very good. What is it?" You know? And I had worn it on my skin and all day I could feel whiffs of it. And what was funny is it was smelling different throughout the day. So that's why this year, I don't know if it changed or it's macerated or something has happened to it, because just look at the color of the juice. It's gone dark, you know. It's something I can just grab and wear it, you know. All I can say is Raghba smells amazing. This is a 10 out of 10. And I don't say 10 out of 10 lightly, and you know that about me. Beautiful. It's sweet, sugary, cold, light. Just think if you like Ameer al Oudh, you'll like this perfume as well. It's just like it's a much more wearable version of Ameer al Oudh. That's what I feel. The projection for this is like 2 to 3 feet, and the longevity, I would say it stays on your skin for a very long time, but let's say 7 hours it'll project. Next we have another perfume that only comes out during winter. This is Khaltat Al Arabia Royal Blends Gold. You have the same one in silver as well. Don't get that. That's a masculine fragrance. This has got 4.01 on Fragrantica. So it is not like loved by everybody, and this one is a polarizing one. Everybody smells different things in it. It's definitely very fruity in the opening. To me, for some reason, I get a plummy note, but not everybody gets that. People get like a whole lot of fruity notes. Let me see what it is compared to. It's compared to Honor and Glory. No, it's nothing like Honor and Glory, but let me see. Okay, it's compared to Pulp by Byredo, and it's also compared to Herba Pura. The fruity elements of this is like Herba Pura, but I don't know, it has like more of those pulpy fruits as opposed to those fake smelling fruits that were there in Herba Pura. So that's why that pulpy thing that's going on in my head, it kind of manifests as a plum note, you know. But very quickly those notes fade away and you start getting these powdery notes with some spices, with some woods, with some resins. It does have like an apple juice kind of scent in the opening. The top notes are fruits and apple. Middle notes are spices, nutmeg and clove, and the base notes of amber, musk and woody notes. Overall, it smells very perfumey, and it's very difficult to identify each note. All I can tell you, it smells like fruits, it smells spicy, it smells woody, it smells resinous. This is probably one of my oldest bottles of perfumes. Not finished too much, see? Because this is literally a perfume I only wear during winter. And this is again one of those perfumes that the day I want to wear this, it better be around me, you know? This is again one of those perfumes that once in a while, I really just want to smell like this. Nice, very nice. But I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10 just because I don't gravitate towards this a lot, yeah? The projection is like 3 feet, And the longevity I would say is like 7 hours or so. There are 2 more perfumes left. Next one is a new one. Actually, both of them are new ones. So we have here Sehr Lattafa. Every time I pick up this bottle, I'm trying it. I should not like it. But of course, I love this bottle. Yes, it's very tacky, very gaudy, very everything like people don't usually like. I love this bottle so much. It's very daring. The more it's macerating, the more suede it's becoming. Now I know there's like a divided thing about this perfume, and thank you to everybody who actually gave me the clarity, because I was thinking, is it my formulation or did they release 2 different formulations, one for the West, one for the East, you know? But not true. There were people who actually told me when they smell it, it smells suede on them. But when it is sprayed or when somebody else smells it, they think it's a vanilla bomb. So it's for sure how your nose is perceiving this. To my nose, it smells like Ishkal Shuyuk, if you remember that. Don't get scared. I know that perfume was a little scary. I used to love that perfume, by the way. It's a suede vanilla. It's definitely very vanilla heavy, but it has an unmistakable suede in it. And because of that, I like it a lot. And because of that, I feel this packaging is very apt. Because it's suede, you know, it gives you that leather or like the scaly feeling. Okay, let me not say it that way. I'm gonna freak people out. No, suede. Like a nice suede bag. Expensive one from an expensive designer brand. Smells like that with your vanilla perfume. Like you spill some vanilla perfume inside that suede bag, that's how it smells like. The top notes for this, wow, my voice just disappeared. The top notes are cinnamon and bitter almond, heart notes of jasmine, pomerose and akigala wood, and your base notes of vanilla absolute, amber and tonka bean. Definitely has like a lot of sweet facets in the dry down, but in the opening, it's unmistakably, I don't know where, okay, I can smell bitter almond, I can't smell cinnamon though. But I'm smelling that suede. It's weird. I don't know if the cinnamon and almond are mixing together and creating that, but no, it's suede. And it's so unmistakable to my nose. See, that's why it's so weird. Like, you know, how people are perceiving the same perfume in 2 such different ways is like, it's mind-blowing. Like, it's insane to me. Like, how, you know? And that's why, like, some perfumes are, like, very, very intriguing to me. Although it's not high in projection and it'll not, like, definitely will not outperform Amethyst or Oud for Glory or one of those perfumes. If people come near you and smell this on you, they will feel like you are wearing the most expensive brands, that you're wearing the most expensive perfume, that you take care of yourself, you know what you want in life, you're a self-made woman. You know, it gives you that independent, strong woman persona. To my nose, just smells very vanilla, mild vanilla with mild sweet. Beautiful perfume, smells expensive, 10 out of 10 for sure. Projection, I would say 2 to 3 feet. Longevity, 8 plus hours. Beautiful performance. I really like it. And I'll continue wearing this perfume till I finish it. And I know for sure that I'll repurchase this again, because it's just one of those unique perfumes that I would want to keep in my collection forever. And last but not the least is a perfume is not necessarily something I like, but I've included this because a lot of you really like it. This is your Teriaq. Where's the front of this perfume? Okay. Teriaq by Lattafa. Now this guy, it was created by Quentin Biche, which is why it became such a hoo-ha. I told you guys before that I smell like a base notes of Label. There's something in it that smells like, not the base notes, sorry, middle notes of Label. But then it has like a stale kind of note in the background, which I can't get with, and I still feel it. I've kept this perfume because I really desperately want to love it, because I do like the bottle. It's not the best bottle, but it's cute, and this pink top color, I like it a lot along with the gold. Plus, it smells slightly resembles Label, and Label, if you guys know, it's one of my favorite perfumes ever. And plus, everybody likes Teriaq, and I want to be a part of the crowd who likes it, you know, which is why I'm like kind of forcing myself, like it for God's sakes, you know. But like as of now, it just has a stale smell in the background, like old books, like an old library. It's slightly dusty. It's also a little bit smelling picklish now, like slightly, ever so slightly. Yeah, I'm not saying it smells like pickles, you know, but ever so slightly. Along with, it's like somebody spilled like a little bit of pickle juice on old library books. Wow, that would be horrible. But it does kind of smell like that along with Label. If that stalish note goes away, I don't even mind that little bit of picklish smell. Probably because of the rhubarb, that smell is coming in. But let me tell you the notes. The top notes are caramel, bitter, almond, pink pepper and apricot. Middle notes are honey, white flowers, rose and rhubarb. And the middle notes of vanilla, labdanum, musk, leather and vetiver. So yes, that musty old smell is probably coming from that leather. It could be from the labdanum. It could be a mixture of that honey and labdanum and leather. There's so many things that can cause that note. So I don't think that this is ever going to turn into, I mean, it's a core base note, right? So how is it going to disappear? But I'm just hoping that in winter, I'll be more accepted of that note. Maybe the perfume will not change because it's supposed to be like this. But maybe my perception of it when I wear it in cooler weather, because right now it's very hot in Dubai, and it is definitely a very, very cloying perfume. You can only pull this off in fall and winter. So I'll wait and I'll try to wear this perfume during that time. Let me not rate it right now to avoid any kind of controversies. I'm learning, being more careful now, you know. So yeah, let me not give it a rating like till I absolutely decide. If that weird note was not there, I would give it a 9 out of 10. If that weird note was not there, because very close to a 10 out of 10. But I don't want to smell like that on my skin. I will not feel comfortable and I'll feel a bit like icked out, you know. So if that musty smell goes away, I will absolutely love this perfume. So I'm going to keep you posted about this. But if you want to know how it smells like, it literally smells like label with these leathery, slightly pickly notes, you know. It's like a grown-up version of label. The good part about this perfume is that it projects like 3 to 4 feet and the longevity is definitely 8+ hours. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. To be honest with you, I am in a little bit of pain. But I think I was okay while filming, right? But I'm feeling like a lot of stiffness and everything in my back especially. And I know when my arms and shoulders start like seizing up and when I start getting pain over here, all my fibro warriors, if you're out there, do you also start getting a pain like in your wrists? Like it's like a weird pain, especially to the touch, you know, and right below the nape of your neck, even to the touch, it hurts like a lot. Let me know if you're like me and you share that thing. That's like an indicator that something bad is coming on. So just pray for me that I don't go into that rut, yeah? I'll see you in the next one, guys, with the part 2 of all the other brands, my fall winter favorites from other brands. Until then, bye.